good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this broadcast. I'm extremely glad that you decided to join me today. It's time now for our 9 for 9 with me, Pastor Carzadean. Won't you come on in? Let's get some words of wisdom, praises in, prayers, and worship. Come on in. Let's get started. Good morning this morning. It is an awesome, mighty, wonderful day today, and we're talking this morning about this. First of all, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. And this morning we want to talk about this thing. We've been talking about focus, that word. So this morning we want to remind you to be still and stay focused. That's all. Be still and stay focused. Psalms 46 and 10 reminds us to be still and know that God is God. Exodus 14 and 13 reminds us to fear not. God says, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Do you know what that comes with? Being still and staying focused? I have a question for you this morning. Have you ever been lied on to your face? Just take a moment and think about that. Have you ever been lied on to your face? Had something done detrimental to your spirit, to your emotions? Have you ever had people attack you for no reason or you couldn't figure out the reason? Well, I remind you this morning. Have you ever been pushed off kilter? You've been trying to do something, all of a sudden it goes this way and not that way. I'm reminding you, be still and stay focused. We know this thing that faith without works is dead. And we equate that with what the old folks used to say. They used to say, if you make one step, God would make two. So you got to still be still and stay focused. Once you stepped out there, once you begin to do that thing, just let God take over. Many times we run into some tangles. We might be hit along the way while we're trying to do this thing that we're supposed to be doing. While we're trying to get to our destiny that God has already shown us. There may be some lawsuits in your life. There may be some legal issues happening. There may be some drawbacks that take place or even some hitbacks that come your way. Maybe while you were doing what you're doing, you messed up a little bit. And so way down the road, along the line, somebody brings that thing back. Be still, I tell you, and stay focused. Somebody's been falsely accused this morning. Someone else has been totally, and I mean totally, without or not for any reason whatsoever, been accused, been abused, misused. You've done all you can for this thing or this person or that person, and all of a sudden it's just not in your favor. Well, let me share one of my stories this morning. Many years ago, I could have had my life totally ruined, my career that God has allowed me to retire from. And I might not be retired from education today if I had let the lies, for no reason that I could think of at the time, ruin me, take me in a different direction. But this was the direction that God had for me to go. So let me give you the story, quick and quaint. So over 25 years ago, wow, while I was working as a paraprofessional, I was called into the principal's office, and by what we might call today a Karen. When I look back, I'm so glad that God just got me to be still and stay focused. And I'm going to be honest with you. Was I sold out? I was in church. Was I sold out? I wasn't sold out yet. I wasn't saved. I was in church. I had been baptized, but I'll put it this way. I wasn't living the life of salvation. I wasn't. I'm being honest. So that during that time, I was called into the principal's office, and there was a young lady sitting there, and she had barely worked at the school long, and I inquired, why am I here? What's going on? And so the principal had directed her to tell what she had told her, and she began to tell the story of me and the children, and I was abusive, and I'm sitting there going, what? 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 In my mind, in my spirit. But while I was sitting there, God dropped a song in my spirit by the Savannah Community Choir, one of those old songs sung by Evangelist Barbara Pinckney Williams that said, I'm determined to go on. And it started off in the beginning, struggling, trying to make it in a world that's not my home. Forces, and when I hit that line in my spirit, all around me, always carrying a bone. But the next one was crucial. Forgive me, Lord, I ask you, if I've done any wrong. You already know when something is coming at you and you don't know where it came from, and you're saying, God, did I do something wrong? God, forgive me. Where is this coming from? I don't know. Well, I want you to know that Karen, and I'm going to call her, sat there and in looking in my face, not a blank, straight face, and saying these things. And I sat and listened. Believe it or not, I sat and listened, singing that thing in my spirit. And all of a sudden, I simply said that what she said was not true. I'm not defending it. I'm done with this meeting, and I'm excusing myself from it. Now, y'all already know. If you knew me back then, that had to be God moving already. Be still and stay focused. Lo and behold, not many days going forward, this person shows up at the classroom I'm working in, bearing a gift and an apology. When she first asked for me, thank goodness for my teacher at that time, she was very, very protective. And she came to me and said, do you want to talk to her? Because if you don't, I'll turn her around. I went to the door. I listened intently. I refused her gift. I walked away. Day after day, for 5 to 7 days, she showed up, bearing gifts and bearing a letter of apology. And she admitted that she lied. And she used these words, I lied because another Karen asked her to lie. Another Karen asked her to lie. And I use that word deeply. And you know, when you don't know where it's coming from, God will show you. And I have to share with you that particular person at that time had some issues because I had been accepted into the Pathways to Teaching program at Armstrong. And I later found out that they had applied before me and they were not accepted. And so God will show you the root of things. So you just have to be still and know that He is God. Be still and stay focused. If I had blown up, if I had told them off like I really wanted to do at that time, I'm telling you, if I had reacted to what was coming at me and not let God handle it, I would have been done with my career, working as a paraprofessional, and then God elevated me to certified teacher. He elevated me to a math coach. He elevated me to a technology lab person. He just kept moving me. He took me up to be an academic coach, and from there to be an assistant principal. And 30 years later, 30 plus later, God said, it's time to rest. And I look back on that story and I think, had I done it differently, wow, what would have happened? Had I done it differently, where would my life be right now? Had I done it differently, what would have come of my child? And I will tell you, God will put forces and persons in your life to cause you to tone down. Because Jolene was in my life at that time. And I had to be thinking, I still have someone I'm responsible for. I'm no longer just responsible for myself. So I encourage you this morning, whatever's coming at you, be still and stay focused. Keep your eyes on the prize. We're going to go a little deeper with this on our next session. But we've got to go now because you already know that's our 9 for 9. And we're not going to go into overtime this morning. But I wanted to encourage you to stay steadfast. Know this, that when you're going through, I'm going through. What you've been through, I may have already been through. So guess what? The same way that God has delivered me, that He has delivered others, He's going to deliver you too. And He wants you to stay focused. And I didn't even know about this thing. But while they were sitting there jabbing at me and saying those things, Oh my goodness, I can imagine if I had known about this thing, I would have been having me a cup of positivity. God bless you, and we'll see you next time. That's our 9 for 9 with me, Pastor Carzadean. Have an awesome